Morning.
It's the way Singapore wakes up.
Wake up.
Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman.
Wake up in the morning feeling like
Kiss 92's Big Show.
Angel has no idea what she's missing because I don't know when this man will be in the studio again. I have looked forward to this for a long, long time. Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio, our Minister for Education and Minister in charge of Public Affairs, Minister Chan Chun Sing.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is an honor to have you with us.
Hey, how come I'm the only one clapping? Huh? All of you also clap, please clap.
Sound effects.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Okay, this morning we're going to talk a little bit about yourself, but we'll do that later so we can find out a little bit more about you. But we do want to talk about the education system. They're not the system, but schools in Singapore and their canteens. I think this was really interesting when it came out in the papers. Why is there a need for MOE to start exploring alternative canteen models in schools?
Well, the simplest way to share about this topic is conversations that I always have with my school kids when I meet them. It usually goes like that. How many of you enjoy your canteen food? And everybody will put up their hands, and then I say, which is your favorite canteen store? Then some people will tell me, is this store or that store? Then I'll ask the next question. I say, how many of you want to be canteen operators and come back to your school and serve the future generation of students? And then everybody look at me like, no, I'm not going to do this. So it's quite common in Singapore, right? Where all of us like our hawker food, but not enough of us want to be hawkers. So when we looked at this, and then it just triggered me to think about the future. That one of these days, we might not have enough people who wants to be canteen operators. And by the way, being a canteen operator is really tough. It's not just about cooking. It's about managing the logistics, the finance, and everything else. It is an entire business operation.
Right.
So even the kids know that it's not so easy, to wake up bright and early in the morning. I think probably you guys are the only ones that wake up as early as the hawkers, right? And get ready everything by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right. So you start your program, but for the hawkers, they get all the stuff ready, and then they have to start serving by 6+ when the kids, some of the kids come to school early.
Yeah.
Especially some of those from more challenging backgrounds, and then our canteen uncles and aunties will help to take care of them. Yeah. So it's really tough work, and so we have to rethink about the canteen models that we have in our school.
Now, Minister, I want to ask you, are there requirements, for the stall holders to cook up nutritious meals, more well-balanced meals, unlike our time, where you go to the tuck shop or the canteen, you get yumi with some, fish balls, or you can still get a char kway teow, or you go to the Malay stall, you can have some Malay dishes and all that. The stall holders currently, because I haven't been to a tuck shop or a canteen, for a long time, do they still serve up dishes like that, or is it now more balanced?
Well, I would say that now we are much more structured in the way we run the canteens. You are right. In the past, maybe some friendly uncle and aunties will come in and say, I want to be a canteen operators, and we'll take them in. Nowadays, I think all our stores would have regular checks to make sure that they abide by what we call the Health Promotion Board standards in terms of nutritional value, in terms of the kind of food that they serve. So, for example, we discourage our stores from serving deep fried food, and we hope that they serve more vegetables, that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, just like the discussion on the hawker culture in Singapore, I think in Singapore, we want many things. As fellow Singaporeans, we are quite typical. We want many things. We want food to be healthy, we want food to be tasty, we want food to be cheap and affordable, and we want them to be fast. So the question is, now, if you don't have enough canteen operators even to start with, how do you arrive, or how do you square the circle, if you like? How do you arrive as a solution where you have affordable food, healthy food, and at the same time, I think we must be fair to our canteen operators. They must make a decent living, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So with that in mind, when we come back, I've got a question regarding sustainability of the business.
Yeah, we'll continue to talk to Minister Chan Chun Sing on the Big Show TV. Meantime, here's G Idol with Queen Card on Kiss 92.
So Minister, having already said that it's a difficult business, you opened the discussion by saying a lot of the kids, when asked, will you come back and be a canteen operator, said no. What sort of, or is there any support that MOE provides to the stall holders to help with the sustainability of their businesses?
Well, from a cost management perspective, actually the rentals are not even an issue because all our canteen operators, they pay a token of between $5 to $15 a month, depending on the size of the school population. And they don't pay this during the school holidays when they are not operating.
Right.
So in terms of cost, that's about what we can manage. We can help them manage. But in terms of the purchasing of ingredients, I think a lot of people have many suggestions. Why don't we do group buys? Why don't we help them to purchase local and so on and so forth? But I think these are operational decisions that are best made by the store operators themselves because they all want to source for their own stuff. So I think in terms of cost structure, that's what we can do. But there's another thing that I noticed when I asked the students. I say, why is it that you don't want to be, your question, why is it that you don't want to be a canteen operator? So they say, no, life is very tough, because sometimes the students are very demanding. Sometimes I don't know how much they want to eat the next day. We wake up, we are quite atypical. Across all the schools in the world that I've seen, not many, or I would say few, have actually as many canteen stores as we have in our MOE schools. Imagine I have 350 schools. Every school on average has about 8 stores.
Wow.
So I jokingly say that actually MOE is one of the largest store operators. We can rival NEA. And people don't understand this. And when it comes to quality control, it's also very tough because you have to make sure that the thousands over stores in the schools all produce certain quality that is acceptable to the students and the parents. So that's why we thought about it and said that, well, actually another possible model could be learning from the other commercial operators is to have what we call a central kitchen model combined with a delivery to the school so that the meals can be scaled at affordable cost and yet at the same time in terms of quality control for the nutritional value is much easier for us to do. So in future, I think we will have a combination of this where to the extent that we can get canteen operators to continue to operate in the schools, we'll be doing that, but then we will have to complement that with some central kitchen. And some of our schools have already tried that. And it's actually quite interesting because the kids learn to say that, okay, I'm not going to impose on the canteen operators to serve me all kinds of food on the day I just turn up in school and then start deciding. They do a bit of what we call pre-booking, maybe the day before or 2 days before. They book the food that they want. And then this leads to much less wastage. Because now you can predict what is the demand.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not that far-fetched a concept because today when we go to restaurants, actually even for many of the restaurants, some parts of their food are actually prepared centrally. And then they go into the restaurant and then they combine it with the chef's cooking and so on and so forth. So I think we have enough experiences across from how SIA prepares the thousands and thousands of meals that they have to the food that we provide for our uniform personnel, whether is it in the military camps or is it in the other parts of the uniform services. And they can achieve what we call economies of scale with less wastage. And I've seen some of our pilot, like for example in Yusof Ishak Secondary School, the kids pre-order the meals and then they come at a price range which is about $3 plus minus depending on what they order. And I've seen the meal and tasted the meals and I thought the quality control is really good. And I think there's something that we can do to scale up.
Right. Are we having a shortage of stall holders because they feel like they can't charge very much, and so it's kind of like not worth their time to be a stall holder in schools?
Well, if I may be frank, this is another discussion topic that I always have with my kids in the school. I say, well, supposing you want to be a store operator, where would you want to be? And without flinching, and they are very frank. They say that, well, Minister, if I can be a good chef and I can be a good store operator, first I will try and open a restaurant myself. I said, okay, very good aspiration. I said, do you have any other options? They say, well, if I can't open a restaurant, I will go to a food court in a commercial mall. I say, why? And the students are very bright. They say that, well, in the school, I can only work about 40 weeks a year because they don't come back during the school holidays. And then, the school children, they have their buying power is not as much as perhaps the adults, right? And if I go to the food court, I can perhaps work longer hours and serve more customers. Why do I want to restrict myself to just half a day work in the school canteen? So notwithstanding the low MOE rentals, I say, why would I want to do that? Because they want to have more people appreciate what they do. So it's actually not easy for us to get canteen operators, because many of them come into our school not so much just to make money, but actually they are very close to the students, and actually they like the kids. And in many schools, we have seen many of these uncles, aunties, they really form a bond with the kids, and you have alumni going back to the school, and not just to visit the teachers, but also to visit the aunties and uncles that have taken care of them. So that's very heartwarming.
Right. So they're not there to make money. They're there to, in a way, give back as well.
Yes. So in some sense, they are there to give back, because maybe they want in a different season in life, they want a different pace of life. But generally, one of the things that keep them going is because they want to interact with the students.
Okay.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Well, you've got the usual delays. That's happening across the expressways. There's no big surprise there. There are a couple of areas that you're going to have to look out for as you head off this morning. The AYE towards the MCE, a vehicle broken down after Portsdown Avenue exit. SLE towards the BKE, an accident after Lentor Avenue exit. Avoid lanes 2 and 3. PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down before Upper Jurong Road. Look out for that. And again on the SLE towards the CTE, an accident after Woodlands Avenue 12 exit. Congestion is to the BKE entrance. Stay within the speed limit, please. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
We certainly hope that while you're stuck in a jam right now, you're enjoying our conversation with our minister. Minister Chan Chun Sing is in the studio this morning, and we are exploring alternative canteen models in schools. And we did mention earlier on, Minister, that we're thinking about, a central kitchen concept. Now, from what we understand, there are concerns that food served by central kitchens and vending machines may be less healthy and nutritious. How will the Ministry of Education and schools monitor the nutritional standards and quality of such meals?
Actually, I think it's a misnomer to think that just because food is prepared at the central kitchens, they are somehow less nutritious. As I was mentioning just now, actually, it's very hard to manage or to check the quality standards of thousands of canteen operators in our schools. But it's actually easier for us to check the quality standards of the central kitchens. And if we think about the sets provide meals for SIA to the military camps and uniform services, I think none of us doubt the quality standards or the nutritional value of the SIA food to the food that's provided by for the uniform services. So I think that part is paradoxically easier for us to manage, and because they have scale, it's much easier for us to actually bring the cost to a more affordable range than having to depend on canteen operators whose demand is uncertain, because actually every day there's quite a bit of wastage, because the canteen uncle and auntie, they don't know when we wake up whether we want nasi lemak today or mee siam. And they have to prepare everything, and poor thing, they actually end up with quite a bit of wastage, and that gets into the cost. So that is the part about the quality control and the nutritional value. Actually, we are much more confident of that. But having said that, I think we will then have to redesign our canteen operations. So today, if we have a typical canteen of about 8 stores, we may have to install what we call food warmers in order to keep the food warm. It's not very different. Actually, I was recalling, on my way here, I was recalling what we used to do when we were in school. At that point in time, I think many of us were a bit, undernourished in the 70s, right? And I don't know whether you remember this. We used to collect milk packets.
Yes.
We were given milk packets, especially the scrawny ones like us.
Yeah.
So
Minister and myself, same age.
Yes.
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was actually the OIC in charge of distributing the milk. No, every day, about 5-10 minutes before the recess, the truck will come. And I'm one of the helpers, if you like, the volunteers, to distribute the milk to the different classrooms. And then we will bring the milk. I mean,
In those yellow trays.
in the yellow trays, and somebody will come from the class and collect them. But that's for the milk of yesterday, right? But today, if we think about it, actually, they will come to probably the canteen and they will put it into the heater to keep it warm, or the food warmer to keep it warm. So I think we need a bit of a change in the infrastructure, depending on the type of food it is. And I don't think that it's going to be less fresh. It actually depends on the delivery schedule and the scale. I think some of us would have visited Japan.
Yeah.
You know, when we go to Japan and you look at some of their 7-Eleven stores and the convenience stores, some of the sushi there is as impressive as what we can perhaps buy in our restaurants here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And how do they do that? I'm always very amazed, you know. How can you serve sushi at this quality, at this price?
Yeah.
And after I studied their supply chain a bit, I realized it's just the turnover, the frequency which they deliver the meals to the convenience stores. And that's a lesson for us, because it all depends on the scale which we can do this, and the larger the scale, the more frequent we are able to do it in a timely manner, and the food is probably as fresh, if not even better, than what we can achieve with people cooking on the spot itself.
Yeah,
Wow.
and very nutritious as well. You're talking about convenience stores there selling really, really good food, you know, where you can actually know the number of calories, the amount of protein that goes in it as well. You know, I think they're a different level altogether over there in Japan, quite frankly.
Yes, and that's because they are able to get the scale right, and then because of that, they can get the frequency right. And I think nobody doubt the quality of food that we can get from Central Kitchen because of the quality control and the efficiency of the supply chain.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Minister Chan Chun Sing on The Big Show TV. It's 8:21.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by Pootie.
You know, Minister, we hear it said among adults that we are a country that doesn't eat to live, we live to eat.
That's you.
I don't deny it. I don't deny it. Singapore is the hardest country in the world to go on a diet. But how does, and this is true with the kids as well, as much as we may not want it to be, how does one maintain a variety of food options for students while ensuring pricing remains affordable, and how's that going to be managed, particularly in the transition from one to another?
So I think the word is a variety, as you have rightly mentioned. How do we get a variety of food options? And we will then need a variety of food provision models. So I think in the transition, there will be, and even in the long-term steady state, there could well be some people who will be cooking what I call live stations inside the canteen. Then there will be some that will be done through the central kitchen delivery. And there will be some that will be done through vending machines. So for example, snacks, packet drinks, all this can be done through vending machines without having to use manpower.
Right.
So I think we will see different models to do this. And we're happy to experiment with different models for our children and staff to have the nutritious meal at affordable prices.
Yeah.
I've got a question. So when it comes to this live station plus central kitchen plus vending machine, who decides how many of which? Is it the school that decides, or is it the ministry that decides?
The school will have to decide, because different schools have different abilities to get the canteen operators. So what we are seeing now is that we offer a menu of options to the schools. For the schools that have their 8 stores all fully subscribed, I think they can continue with the current model. For some schools, they are already facing some challenges in filling up all the 8 stores, and some of them have started subscribing to the options that MOE provide them, which is to go for central kitchen options, and there are different central kitchen operators. So we also want to try out different operators to see both the quality and the affordability. And then some schools are also putting in vending machines for the what we call the after school hours, because sometimes the kids stay back for CCA, they need drinks or they need snacks, and that's done by the vending machine side. So you can see different models. I mean, I have in extremis, I have, I think, 2 schools that have only 1 or 2 canteen operators out of the 8, and it's very challenging because the school population is not very big, and they don't have the volume to sustain the number of operators. So they jokingly told me that, every day is omakase. So I said, what do you mean by omakase? They said, oh, well, you see, there's only 1 canteen operator, and whatever he cooks, you can either decide to buy and eat, or you can decide to bring your own food, or you decide not to buy his food. You know?
Yeah.
So in that school, they jokingly say that every day is omakase, because that one operator has to provide the range of options for all of them. So
Right.
That's interesting.
I'm
Omakase
surprised
food.
they don't have like a schedule, like Monday they'll be selling this, Tuesday they'll be selling this, Wednesday they'll be
that's
selling
what the central kitchen can do. Because the central kitchen, they will tell you that, okay, next week, these are the offerings, because they need you to pre-book, right? So actually, okay, Monday this is what you're going to get, Tuesday this is what you're going to get. It's very much like SIA and the uniform services, the military camps. They actually know the menu ahead of time,
Right.
so it's not omakase every day.
Yeah. But will people be able to choose, for example, like maybe 2 options and you choose one?
Yes, that's exactly what they do. So they pre-choose and then they pre-book. So the central kitchen receive the orders, and now with digitization, they can actually plan it well in advance. How many portions of what type of food, and they will deliver, just like the old days of delivering the milk, they will deliver it to the school at the correct time.
Yeah.
And then we can keep it in the food warmer, and so that the students can get it when their turn for recess come.
I actually see an advantage to this, because if I can order my meals for an entire week, from a parent's point of view, I can then just prepay the school the money. And I don't have to worry about my kid carrying money, my kid
Yes.
worrying about change and how much change he gets or whatever. I just pay the school. And my kid's recess
Or in
month
fact,
is
you
done.
pay the central kitchen
Or the
operator
central kid-
directly.
yeah, directly.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about my kid with
Yeah.
money.
Sounds like a good system.
I
mean, the
see
reason
the
why
advantage.
we're talking about this, Minister, is it because there's a very high chance that we might introduce this system?
Actually, the system is already introduced in various of the schools. For those schools that have more challenges getting the full complement of canteen operators, actually they have already started doing this, piloting this with different central kitchens providers. Yeah.
And it's been okay. It's been so
In
far
fact-
so good.
In fact, the kids like the idea of that they can pre-choose the meal beforehand,
Yeah.
and then they can get their food warm and at affordable prices. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely. Really good. We need to get to know the minister a little bit, I think.
Yes, and we're going to do it when we go on air once
Yeah.
again. Minister, this is a surprise for you. FD is going to be leading us in a segment called My Favorite Things, which is your favorite things.
It's something that all ministers who come in do.
Yeah, but we
Really?
take turns in coming up with the questions.
Yes.
I see.
So actually, you're very lucky Angel is not here today. If not, she'll just be talking about vegetables. So
This is true.
Angel used to be vegan, actually.
I see.
Yeah, but after she met us, she knew that she would not be able to survive because she's always being led into temptation to eat the things that we eat. So from vegan, she decided, okay, now she's vegetarian. At least she can eat eggs.
Okay.
We'll get her onto meat soon.
So you have corrupted her.
Okay, stand by.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Usual delays across the expressways. Do look out for that. You're going to find 1 or 2 delays for sure. Look out for some specific areas as you head out this morning. The BKE towards the PIE, a vehicle broken down after the SLE exit. SLE towards the BKE, an accident after Lentor Avenue exit. Congestion is to the TPE. Look out for that. PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down just before Upper Jurong Road. That will slow you down. And again on the SLE towards the BKE, a vehicle broken down before Upper Thompson Road exit. Stay within the speed limit, please. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We are so very, very happy to have with us our Minister for Education and Minister in charge of Public Affairs, Minister Chan Chun Sing, with us this morning. And we've been having a wonderful conversation about, nutrition standards in schools, how the central kitchen model, could possibly be the way to go here in Singapore. And now we want to find out a little bit more about you. Minister Chan. He's come up with the questions today, so I can't guarantee that it will be safe, but I'm here to veto some of your questions.
Some of
So
my questions.
in case you ask the minister anything inappropriate, I will throw this bell at you.
Okay.
All right. Don't worry. I look after you, Minister Chan. Don't worry.
Thank you
So
so
we're
much.
going to find...
You know, he always sees himself like some senior minister for radio like that. So he can do anything he wants.
We may just need a senior minister for radio.
I'm there for you. I'm there for you. Okay, so it is 10 of your favorite things. You'll have 30 seconds to try and get through the 10. Okay? The 10 random thoughts that came into my head today. Okay, so if we're ready, we'll play My Favorite Things.
These are a few of my favorite things.
30 seconds starts now. Your favorite food.
Wonton mee.
Your favorite movie.
Haven't seen a movie for a long while.
Your favorite singer or band.
Oh, it's going to be some Chinese singer that you probably don't know.
I will know.
He will.
Sam Hui.
There
I
you-
know Sam Hui.
Oh, I
Aces
see.
go places at Sam Hui, right?
So
Fav-
I'm not so old.
Favorite actor.
Haven't seen too many movies.
Movies. Favorite thing to do on the weekends.
Play with my kids.
Favorite TV show.
Haven't seen too much TV.
TV either.
Well,
Ministers
we
are
only,
busy
we only
people.
watch documentaries, you know.
Your favorite sport.
Favorite sports. So now I run and I cycle.
Your favorite drink.
Anything that's free.
Your favorite color.
Well, should I say white?
I kind of thought that one was going to go. What was your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math.
Yeah, because I like to solve puzzles, you know.
Completed all 10.
Oh,
well done.
That was okay. I thought
It
you were
was-
going to ask the minister a more controversial
I had one or
questions.
two, but then I thought better of it. Because
I thought you were going to ask me like, what is 17 divided by 84?
no, but I was going to ask you who was your favorite person in Parliament. Anyways.
That one cannot. That one I would have. No, next.
You live such a busy life. You're visiting constituents. You've got your ministry work to do. Do you have time for interests and hobbies and things like that? Really?
Well, once upon a time, one of my senior taught us this, you know, life is fair. Every one of us only have 24 hours. So he said it depends on what you make of it, right?
Right.
So that actually got me thinking that actually it's not whether we have time or not, it's whether we make time for the things that we treasure and we want to do.
Right.
And I always remember this other senior that told me, and he always asked me this question, you know. He said, Chan Chun Sing, do you know what's a hobby? Is a hobby something you do when you have time? Or is a hobby something you find time to do? So he told me that, well, if it's a hobby that you do when you have time, then sorry, you won't have any hobby in your life because work expends to few time. We'll just clutter our life with many things. But if there's something that we really want to do, like spending time with our family or reading a book, I think we will make time to do rather than use the excuse to say that, well, I'll do it when I have time, because we will never have time unless we make time for it. So it is something that I learned from my seniors when I was in school.
Wise words.
Now,
Very
Minister, I've got
wise
one last
words.
question for you. Because, I mean, it's a school holiday. I know some of the students are tuned in right now with their parents and all that. What's your top advice that you could give to young Singaporeans who are tuned in right now?
Chill and learn something that you will never learn in school. It's one of my favorite questions, you know. When I go to these popular schools or not so popular schools, I always want to ask the kids these questions. I say, do you know what makes you special? Do you have a special skill set that you have that you think other people don't have? Because I think every one of you can have something special.
Yeah.
And I want you to learn something that is not in your syllabus. I want you to learn something that your parents didn't ask you to learn, but because you want to make the effort to learn it. And to me, that's the most important life skill. That determination to want to learn something and for yourself to stand out amongst the crowd. And I think our kids are able to do that. So I think I would say that we give them time, give them space, and they will pleasantly surprise us.
Interesting. So one final question for you. What is on the minister's playlist? What song would you like to play for our listeners and why?
There will be You Raise Me Up.
Josh Groban.
That's
I
a
always
wonderful
thought
song.
it's a very meaningful song for all the kids, because I always, when I do this at every of my EduSafe ceremony, I always remind the kids that come to get the awards, that you are here not just because of your intelligence and hard work. You are here because of the love and support of your families. You are here because of the opportunities given to us by the society. And in time to come, I hope everyone will also pay it forward, where we don't define success by our achievements, but we define success by our contributions.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Minister, it's been a pleasure having
Thank
you
you
on the
so
show
much.
today.
Absolutely.
Had a lot of fun. Hope you come back again soon.
Well, if you invite me, I'll be back.
All right, let's do this.
All right, here's Josh Groban. You Raise Me Up on KISS 92.